The darkness stretched across the cold expanse of space. No stars flickered nearby, only the distant glow of a shattered moon casting faint light over a silent battlefield. For centuries, the galaxy believed Earth's war was over, that humanity was crushed, broken, lost to time. The Empire's grip tightened without resistance. But beneath the shattered moon's cold surface, deep in a forgotten cavern carved by ancient hands, something stirred. A faint pulse, a slow heartbeat. The Supercarrier, Earth's last hope and greatest weapon, began to awaken. In the blackness, the ship's hull shimmered faintly as hidden systems flickered to life. Ancient engines hummed, releasing long-stored energy. Lights along the massive vessel blinked on, glowing with a fierce blue radiance. Inside the control room, dormant consoles flickered, screens sparking with information long hidden from the galaxy. The Supercarrier's core, a massive fusion reactor, ignited with a sudden blaze, sending a brilliant wave of light that cut through the darkness like a silent thunderclap. Unknown to the Empire, this ancient giant was ready. A warning pulse echoed through space, a message no enemy had seen coming. The war was far from over, and Earth's forgotten Supercarrier was about to rewrite history. The cold silence of space stretched endlessly above the dying colony. Captain Zara stood on the bridge of the Resolute, her eyes scanning the dark horizon where stars twinkled faintly. The once great human empire was now a shadow of its former self. Stories of Earth's golden age, when humanity ruled the stars, seemed like myths to many, but not to Zara. Beside her, Engineer Jalen hunched over a console, sweat beading on his brow despite the ship's control climate. "Captain, I'm seeing strange readings from deep inside the hull. Old systems, ancient ones. It's like something is waking up." Zara's heart skipped a beat. "What kind of systems?" "Systems that shouldn't exist anymore. They're powering up. The ones from the Supercarrier," Jalen whispered, his voice trembling with disbelief. Zara clenched her fists. The Supercarrier was a legend, a massive warship built in Earth's long-lost past. It was said to be so powerful it could turn the tide of any war. But after the Galactic Treaty, all such ships were supposed to be dismantled or hidden away. Suddenly, her mind flashed back to her childhood. Sitting by the fire while her grandmother told stories of the Supercarrier, a ghost ship waiting for the right moment to rise again. "Jalen, if those systems are really activating, then we're not as lost as we thought," Zara said, voice steady but filled with fire. Far away, hidden in the shadows of a distant moon, an alien spy named Mira observed through her sleek visor. She was silent, blending into the alien command center. Her orders were clear: watch the humans, report any movement. But the signals coming from the Supercarrier's direction were unlike anything the Empire had seen. "They're stirring," Mira muttered. Her heart raced. If the Supercarrier awakens, it could change everything. Back on the Resolute, alarms began to chime softly. Jalen's fingers danced across the controls as the ancient ship's weapon systems powered up one by one. The cold steel of massive cannons hummed with energy. A countdown blinked silently on the bridge. Across the galaxy, in the Empire's war room, commanders gathered. Their faces were tense as they watched the incoming data. "Is this the end of the Empire's reign?" one whispered, eyes wide with fear. No one answered. The Supercarrier's weapons locked into position. The countdown ticked forward. Time was running out. The news reached the Empire like a shadow spreading across their vast command network. The Supercarrier was awake. The ancient weapon of humanity's forgotten past had begun to stir, and with it, fear rippled through the ranks of the alien Empire. In a cold, steel room deep within the Empire's flagship, Commander Kthar stood tall and imposing. His dark eyes burned with hatred. "That ship cannot be allowed to live," he growled. "It's a relic of a war that should never rise again. Find it, destroy it, no mistakes." Kthar's voice echoed, sharp and final. Around him, officers scrambled to ready fleets and weapons. The Empire had lost wars before. It would not lose again to a ghost from the past. Far away on a distant rocky planet, a group of human rebels huddled around a crackling radio. Among them was Lyra, a fierce resistance fighter. Suddenly, strange signals pierced the static. Signals unlike anything they had heard. They were rhythmic, haunting, and full of promise. "We're not alone," Lyra whispered, eyes shining with hope. "Something's coming for us." Back on the Resolute, Captain Zara and Engineer Jalen studied the ship's ancient systems. "The Supercarrier's power isn't just brute force," Zara said quietly. "It's built to adapt, to evolve. There are secret protocols, hidden commands locked inside the ship's AI." Jalen nodded, fingers tracing data streams. These protocols were designed for Earth's last desperate battle, a last stand before everything disappeared. The ship was to vanish, hidden deep in space, until it was needed again. Zara's mind drifted to the flashback, the chaos of Earth's final battle. She saw huge fleets clashing, cities burning, and the Supercarrier slipping away in a silent jump, disappearing into the darkness to hide. Now, centuries later, it was returning, but not alone. Its slow, ghost-like jump carried it toward the front lines where the war still raged. On the Empire's command deck, sensors screamed. Jump signature detected. Unknown vessel moving toward the contested zone. Kthar's eyes narrowed. Find it. Destroy it. No mistakes. The hunt had begun. The Empire's shadow was falling, and the ancient war was waking again. Captain Zara stood alone in the quiet hum of the Supercarrier's control room. Before her, the ship's AI flickered to life, ancient code swirling through the systems. As she reached out to interface with it, images and voices filled her mind, fragment of Earth's history embedded deep within the ship. She saw families saying goodbye, children crying, and soldiers preparing for a war no one could win. The day Earth vanished from known space came alive again, a moment when hope slipped away, and sacrifice became the only option. Zara's breath caught as she relived the pain and loss of that day. Her father's voice echoed in her memory, telling her to hold on, to survive, to carry the legacy. Far away, hidden among the Empire's ranks, the alien spy Mira watched the Supercarrier's power with growing unease. She had been sent to observe and report, but what she saw made her question everything. The ship was more than a weapon. It was a symbol of human resilience and will. Myra's loyalty wavered as she whispered to herself, "Maybe the Empire is the real enemy." Meanwhile, the Empire's massive fleet closed in, dark shapes blotting out stars. The tension on the Resolute was thick, the ticking clock pressed on all sides. Suddenly, the Supercarrier's hull shuddered as its defensive systems activated. Shield generators flared and long-dormant turrets turned toward the enemy ships. The Empire had expected a sleeping relic, but instead found a ghost ready to fight. Lasers and missiles streaked through space as the Supercarrier retaliated with fierce precision. The battle erupted around it, the air thick with explosions and fury. Through the chaos, the AI's voice spoke calmly to Zara. "We are not just a weapon. We are the legacy." Zara's eyes hardened. This was no simple warship. This was Earth's last hope, alive, fighting, and remembering. Captain Zara led her team through narrow corridors deep inside the Supercarrier. The walls were cold steel, covered in layers of dust and faded markings from a time long forgotten. Every step echoed in the silence. Then Jalen's voice crackled over the comms. "Captain, I've found something, an access hatch in behind this panel." With effort, they pried open the heavy door. Inside was a chamber unlike any they had seen, a vault of ancient technology, weapons humming softly with power, and devices that seemed far beyond current human science. It was a treasure trove buried beneath the ship's armor. Zara touched a strange console, triggering a flashback that flooded her mind. She saw Earth's engineers, working secretly in underground bunkers, installing fail-safe systems designed to protect the ship if all else failed. They had hidden these systems away, locked behind layers of codes and encryptions, hoping future generations might never need them, but prepared just in case. The hum of the chamber grew louder as systems awakened. But outside, the alien fleet was closing in fast. Massive warships formed a deadly circle, weapons primed for a full assault. Alarms blared. "They're coming, Captain. We have minutes before the attack hits," Jalen warned. Zara steeled herself. "Defend the ship at all costs. Unlock the ship's potential. We have to be ready." Her crew spread out, activating ancient weapon systems. Energy cannons lit up the void, and the supercarrier's hull glowed with shield power. The battle began again, this time with the ship's hidden secrets unleashed. Just as the fight intensified, a sudden signal came through the ship's communications. It was weak, fragmented, but urgent. Zara listened as the voice warned, "Do not awaken the others." Her heart raced. The message was clear and terrifying. Something else was waiting out there, something powerful and dangerous. The silence that followed was heavier than any battle cry. What else slept in the darkness of space? And what would happen if it woke? Myra's eyes darted nervously as she slipped through the supercarrier's shadowed halls. She had seen the humans' courage, how they fought not just for victory, but for survival, for hope. The Empire's cold orders no longer made sense to her. Somewhere deep inside, something had changed. She reached Zara's command room, her voice low but steady. "Captain, I can help you. There are rebel factions, others who want to see the Empire fall, but they need to hear from you." Zara studied Mira, wariness mixed with hope. "Why should I trust you? You're their spy." Myra's gaze softened. "Because I'm tired of lies. I was born into the Empire's cruelty, forced to serve. My family torn apart. I want to fight for something real, for freedom." Zara nodded slowly. "Then help us survive. Help us send a message they can't ignore." As they worked together, secret communications sparked to life. Rebel ships responded, signals flickering like distant stars promising aid. But the Empire was not idle. Without warning, a brutal strike tore through the supercarrier's defenses. Explosions rocked the corridors, alarms screaming warnings. Core systems breached. Jalen shouted, struggling to keep control. Fire spread quickly, threatening to consume the heart of the ship. Zara's voice rose over the chaos. "We can't lose this ship. It's all we have left." Her words hung in the air, fierce and desperate, as the supercarrier trembled on the edge of destruction. The battle for survival was far from over. The supercarrier groaned under the weight of damage, its metal hull scarred by enemy fire. Sparks flew from exposed circuits, and thick smoke curled from ruptured pipes. Yet, despite everything, the ship's heart still beat, faint but steady. Zara and Jalen raced through the dim corridors toward the core chamber. The air was thick with heat and tension. Every second counted. Jalen's hands moved quickly, repairing shattered conduits and rerouting power to stabilize the core. Sweat dripped down his face. His mind flashed back to Earth, long ago, during his training as an engineer. He remembered the loss of his family in the early days of the war, the empty house waiting for him when he returned. That pain fueled his resolve now. Outside, the alien fleet was closing fast. Hundreds of warships swarmed like locusts, blocking every escape route. Their weapons glowed with deadly intent. Zara clenched her fists. "Jalen, how long?" "Almost there. Just a few more seconds." She nodded and moved to the command console. With a trembling hand, she activated the ship's deepest secret. A superweapon buried beneath layers of encryption, a weapon thought lost to time. The ship's systems hummed louder, energy building like a storm waiting to break. The supercarrier surged forward, entering a dangerous war zone, surrounded by enemy ships on all sides, with no room to maneuver. The AI's voice echoed cold and clear through the bridge. "Warning, one wrong move and everything ends here." Zara's heart pounded as she stared into the void, knowing that the fate of countless lives rested on what she did next. The supercarrier's engines roared like a beast awakened from a long sleep. Red alert lights flashed violently across the bridge. Outside, the Empire's massive fleet filled the blackness of space, a seemingly endless sea of enemy ships ready to crush the last beacon of human hope. Zara stood tall before her crew, her voice strong and clear over the roar of alarms. "This is our last stand. We fight not just for ourselves, but for every soul who believed Earth was lost. We fight for the future of humanity. Hold the line, no matter what." Her words sparked a fire in the hearts of every soldier and engineer aboard. Memories flashed through her mind. Heroes of Earth's past, faces of those who had fought and fallen, so she could be here now. She could almost hear their voices, urging her forward. The supercarrier unleashed its power. Beams of energy, long dormant, burst from hidden turrets, slicing through enemy formations with deadly precision. Shield generators flared as the ship absorbed hit after hit, pushing back against the tide. Amid the chaos, a ship detached from the enemy fleet. Commander Kthar himself boarded a sleek fighter and charged toward the Supercarrier, seeking a final duel with Zara. The two faced off in the void, skill and will clashing in a deadly dance of lasers and maneuvers. Back on the Supercarrier, the ship's AI revealed a secret plan, one that had been hidden for centuries. A plan to change the galaxy forever, to reset the balance of power, and give humanity a new beginning. As the battle reached its climax, a calm, mysterious voice echoed through the ship's speakers. Earth was never truly lost, it was waiting. The words hung in the silence that followed the storm, a promise and a warning of what was yet to come.